Sixth grade, once you're in Pixlr Editor, to begin, you're going to hit Create New Image. Please title it whatever the assignment is. In this case, it's Newimal, which means new animal. You can leave the presets. The size is this fine. You're just going to hit OK. And that's where you get the big white box. Now, that's going to be our first layer. To do our background layer, you are going to go to Layers and open the next image as a layer. Now, if you have something saved in here, you can kind of click on them to see, and you're going to bring that in when it's the picture that you would like. So you can see these are my current photos, just trying to see which one is the picture I wanted to use. If you don't have a background picture, you can just go to Google and search for whatever you want to have your picture be. So if I wanted my Newimal to live in a sunset, I'm going to start with the background image first. I also want you to think about if the pictures are protected or not. So along in here in the settings, I want you just to be able to look at these tools right here along this part and go to usage rights. I want you to have it clicked to label for reuse. We want to make sure that the photo isn't owned by someone else. That's very important when you are manipulating photos. So you can make it whatever size. Usually you want to go large. If you do the small ones and you try to make them bigger, they'll look pixelated when you readjust them. Let's see, type when you're searching, you want all photos because we're doing photo manipulations. I don't want any cartoons. So you can see that I did all of that. Now I'm going to click on this picture and I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go back into my Pixlr and open that layer as an image again. And then I can go to all my files if I don't find what I just saved, but I see it right here. And I want that to click on. Now, notice it's not the whole shot, so it's too big. So now I want to make sure that I can make it smaller. So you go to Edit and go down to Free Transform. See how it has little boxes on way out here? It means it's huge. So what I want to do is now hit the Shift key and click on that and make it come down. Now I'm also going to drag it back over until it's the right size. So don't forget to do the Shift key, because if you don't, it will distort the picture. So if I just grab this and did it however I wanted, see how it distorts it? So I'm going to go and start again so that I don't have a distorted image. So I'm going to free transform, hit the Shift key, make it really small, bring it back into the picture plane, keep hitting the Shift. Now it's small. Now it's too small, so I'm going to make it big and make it fit exactly where I want it to be. I can drag and drop it. Now I'm going to click outside the box and apply the changes. Do you want to apply the changes? Yes, I do. Okay, so now if I wanted to add another type of animal on top of this area, I'm not going to say new layer, but I'm going to go to open image as a layer. In my pictures here, I have, let's see, a frog somewhere. Here he is, and this is the frog that I wanted to use. Now he's gigantic. If I want to make him smaller, again, you go to Edit, Free Transform, hold the Shift key so it doesn't distort, and make it the size you want it to be. Click, apply the changes. Now say I just want his head. What I need to do then is I need to start getting rid of the background behind his head. You can also zoom in. Oops, I'm sorry, so that you can get a really good idea of how much needs to come off. When you do the lasso tool, you click and hold it down as you drag your finger, and you're going to be not going around him exactly, but going around what you want to get rid of in chunks. When it starts to spin or the little marching ants come, then you hit delete and that section will go away. Now to go on to another spot, you have to do Control D, and that will deselect. Control D deselects. And then you can go back in and do some more. Now you won't be able to erase anything else if those dancing ants or marching ants are still marching, see them, until you deselect. So delete, Control D, and then you can move to a new section. When you're doing this, I want you to do as neat of a job as you possibly can. So you're kind of paying attention to that edge. Control D again to deselect. Now I'm going to get rid of some of this extra area by just using the eraser tool. Now up here, the brush size can change the eraser if you need it to. So here are, when I click on the brush, I can do all of these different types of erasers. I can do a really large one. Oops, and now I just erased part of his head. Now remember, if you do something crazy and you don't want to go to edit and then back one, you can go in your history and just go back up to where you were. You can see I'm over here in my history and go back to where you were. And then, now this is way too large. It's kind of dangerous. It's taking things out. So you can go back to where you need to be and kind of erase the bigger spots. I'm going to zoom back where I was. Oops, sorry. Whoa, get out of control. View, zoom in. Sorry. All right, sorry. Going back and then erasing what I need. Now, to get up nice and close to him, because you want it to be nice and crisp and clean, you might want to go ahead and make that brush even smaller so that you can control it and go really gentle up against the edge. I want these to be nice and neat. Remember, if you take too much out, just go back in that history and go back to where it wasn't too much out and fix it. So there should be no excuse to put something super choppy on something else. So here I'm just starting out making my frog head floating. Now you obviously might pick an animal with a body at this point and then put something on it and then put another thing on it to make it look realistic. I am just showing you how that I want you to put it in a background first and then insert your animal and then start doing attachments that way. So Control D to deselect, readjust your brush sizes. You can blur edges to make it look a little bit more realistic once you have something attached. Remember the smudge tool will kind of blend things. Try things out. Now that's obviously not something I wanted, so I don't have to go back to edit and then go back. I just go back to my history. All right, so when we go to save today, once you have your project all set to go, I want you to save. And yours on your picture or on your save image part should have your Google Drive. Make sure you put it in your Google Drive. But if you didn't get set up that app in your Google Drive, you can save it so you can go back into it. Don't do JPEG. Go here and click and go down to layered pixel image. And that way it's a PXD now. And when you go back to work on it, if you need to, then you can save it. We'll talk about how to flatten the image, how to put it in the dock later. But I want to make sure you can save it so you can make adjustments if needed. All right, so I'm saving my Newimal to my desktop at the moment as my PXD, and that is all she wrote for today. Hopefully these tips helped you. I want you to play around. I want you to do 2 or more animals. Make sure it has a different background. Challenge yourself and use those tools. All right, thanks so much for listening.